Hi everyone, this is Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot, and we're going to start the Free Energy, Alternative Energy panel now. And I want to welcome everyone who is in the audience, as well as the panel members that we have with us so far. And let me say that MT Keshe is with us, and he will be on audio only because of some logistical issues at his end. And other than that, we're going to have some panel members that will join us probably as the night progresses. Everyone has the login, so they should be able to get on the show. Okay, so some of the people that were invited have, like I said, not joined us, and we may have need to mute people as we go along depending on the logistical issues that we have. We've actually never done anything of this magnitude. In other words, inviting so many people. And I will say that I invited actually a number of physicists, and including MT Keshe, as well as John Hutchinson said he might make it. John Bedini was invited, and we thought perhaps he would make it. And then there are some others as well that have been invited, and I'm not sure who will join and who won't. So that's kind of where we stand at the moment. As you may have seen on my website, the whole purpose of this sort of discussion is to kind of have an open discussion with the audience to bring forward the issues around free energy. And if you go to my website, I have a number of articles as well as links to people's work around free energy, including MT Keshe. And I have the latest Veterans Today article that talks about MT Keshe, some background on him, and at least from the point of view of Gordon Duff, his experience with some of the Keshe products, and so that we could have a balanced discussion really about free energy. So that's the objective here, and we want to hear from all sides. That's great. We do have somebody moderating the chat for us tonight, Brian, our producer on Project Camelot TV. Thank you, Brian. And I have to say that if people are sort of trolls, or they're unfriendly or whatever, they will be dropped and they will be banned from the chat as we proceed. So that's what's happening. So at this moment, let's start off with a statement from MT Keshe, and I'm going to hope that this will broadcast properly. So, Keshe, if you're there.
Yes, good morning, good evening to you, as usual, wherever you're listening to Carrie's program. Thank you very much for inviting us, and I hope for the first time after years we can have a proper discussion about energy, not free energy. Free energy does not exist. The free energy term was created by those who hijacked the energy discussion, and I hope it's the first time. That's why I came on, because I believe in your work, Carrie. You are one of the few who is not aligned with any direction to promote or destroy scientists. And if the discussion goes that way, we stay online. It's the first time for years you have managed to bring some sanity into this work, because up to now it was hijacked and is still getting hijacked by people who are paid to hijack for their own purposes. So we stay on discussion. We support the energy discussion, not the free energy, because our technology is not a free energy. We are a plasma technology. The way, if, as I said in one of my presentations recently, if nuclear is free, if oil is free, then the plasma technology is free too. This is a new type of energy which, due to the understanding more of our own creation, we have come to develop. When we developed the nuclear, there was a lot of discussion till we built up the nuclear stations. We supplied, and a lot of countries now are getting benefited by it. Now we have gone further into the nucleus. Now we understand the plasma itself is a neutron, the plasma itself is an electron, and now we are harvesting a free plasma motion for the release of its collection. So the plasma technology, the way we set it out, it's a new fuel. It's not free. Anybody speaks about the free energy, those are the ones who never understood. And we know one of the main advocates of this free energy and the control of the energy discussion at the moment is having free drinking prison in Utah. The whole problem with all the scientists who are working to make life easy for the rest of humanity is that people who know nothing about their field of work, they come in to make discussion about it because they are paid to do so. We've seen this. We've seen this in the energy section. For 10 or 15 years, a man who was paid with a group of people to deliberately discredit the people who were working all their life to bring comfort to man because he had a clandestine activities. Now it's finished. Now he's in prison. Now we managed. Keshe Foundation was instrumental to put Alan Sterling into prison for pedophilia. He's in now. He begot him. A number of people around him, around what we call the Red Circle, who was his supporter, is very soon going to be joining him. So after putting these people, we see immediately the same group as they put Alan Sterling up. The judge, according to what we call Veteran Magazine, has already been killed because they found everything on him. Suddenly, out of nowhere, we see two women coming up. But now, with support of CIA and other intelligence agencies, we have found out these all were connected with Agnes Sterling. And both are in the child kidnapping. And a woman who doesn't know the right hand or left hand or doesn't even know how to plug an electricity plug into a circuit now has become a discussion who is a scam in power generation. Keshe Foundation is a scam. Other scientists are a scam. Ask the lady, does she know how to cook? She has no clue. Now she's become the hope of other bunch of pedophiles. Now we have found how these people work. They're on the run. Today, in the Keshe Foundation teaching, we'll show the two people who come up now, funded by Alan Sterling, is the hope of the nation. She's actually runs, according to CIA, orphanage in Africa, supplying children into Europe. Madame Hope, hope of the mothers who give their children to be looked after, because in orphanage there are no passports. Children are shipped into Europe for pedophiles or Alan Sterling, and they were supporting each other. And now suddenly she's become an energy guru. Tell her that she know where the plug is. And now the lady who supports her, Suzanne, we have found that she is part of the kidnapping child. We'll show evidence today in teachings, which we do in Keshe Foundation. So let's go back on a proper discussion. Don't let us be hijacked. Our technology, Keshe Foundation, and a lot of other scientists, we are all correct. 99% of us are correct. Because we put effort, we show something, we need people of the understanding of our science to become the panelists, not people who are paid to discredit to have someone in their bank. We've seen with a number of scientists, we have to support the development of science, and we only see people who become critics are the ones who are paid to act as and be benefited by their work. We had the Red Circle next to us for 10 years. We could not grow out of Belgium. We could not even imagine the man who was sitting next to us was part of pedophilia group, and at the same time he was paid by showing to support us to destroy us underneath. We moved out of Belgium, in Italy 3 years. Now we've seen today I've signed over 8 factories around the world which are going into manufacturing. How come till 3 months ago Mr. Alan Sterling, who was given a child, he was happy with it, he wrote an article, is this scam? Is something right with Keshe Foundation? Now we know why there was something wrong with Keshe Foundation. It's not us. He has admitted. Now we know there are more states sending convictions to the courts in Utah. Maybe he has raped up to 300 children. 300 children. He used Pizriki to lure the children. So these people who write articles against scientists is to bring the youngsters in, to find their emails, their addresses, and then sell it to the other people. That's why, as we hear in what I call a veteran today, the judge was one of the people who was getting benefited. Now we know Susan is another one. And we have a proof that the hope of the new power supply, Free Energy, she's heavily involved in child trafficking. CIA tells us that the English girl, which went missing in Spain, was trafficked through Morocco, through organization which Hope supports, for the King of Belgium. This is how bad it is. If you're a panelist, come with a discussion. Tell us where there is a need. Tell us where we have to look for. Tell us where we are weak that we need to strengthen. Don't come to criticize. To put a technology in the market, to put a technology for human race to benefit, takes years of work. We are not in that business anymore. We are an energy power supplier. And secondly, energy is a small part of the Keshe Foundation work. We've gone into the medical system, and do you know what is nice? The people who say it's a scam. We have given our limitation, our standard to European laboratories, government laboratories. They have checked it. They have tested it for a month, and they have issued CE certificate for our materials. What it does, correction in development, the energy reduction, our medical equipment, what we submitted has been tested. We wanted just to have a CE certificate for our health pen or our health pad. The European Community Health Authorities, they said, no, this directly affects positively in change of anything which is used for pain. So it's a health equipment. We don't want it to go in the open market just as a tool. They have certified it in class 2, which means the doctors can recommend it to their patients. They can prescribe it. You can actually get paid by the insurance company. So anybody who says organizations like us, we are a scam, it means you got to ask them, can we have your private accounts, who's paying you? Because it's not Keshe Foundation anymore. My name, energy, the power supplies are getting manufactured now in 3 countries. 5 factories in the United States are going into production. This is all people investing. They've checked their work. There are people who are setting up. 2 companies are going into production in Taiwan very soon. 1 is already signed in China. More will be signed in China. And we see 30 factories around the world this year going into production of the system, which those people who were up to 2 months ago was a scam. People are submitting the systems are saving energy. Now we have installed systems in the schools for government to show how much the companies can save energy. We see 30% reduction in what they call huge organizations, structures, which they use huge amount of money. It takes time, it builds up, and we see the reduction. 30, 40,000 euro per month saving on bills. We gave 1 system to 1 organization. They came back and said it works. We used it in the school, and the saving in the school is huge. We like to see what we can do more, how much we can do. So people who speak about free energy, they are the enemies of humanity, because this shows the minute a person uses free energy means has never had the idea. This word was promoted by Alan Sterling because it's the way they could bring children in. Let's talk about energy. Alternative energy is a discussion table, not the free energy. Our technology is a plasma. As I said, if nuclear is free, if oil is free, so is the plasma. I'll leave it to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Keshe, for your statement. I'm going to put you on mute for a moment while we get some other people on the sort of presentation here. So 1 moment, please. Bear with me while I change systems here. I want to welcome all our panel members, and if you're new to the panel, why don't you introduce yourself at this time? So let's go across the board. We've got someone I can see by the name of Robert. Robert, do you want to introduce yourself and say something briefly about the reason that you wanted to be on the panel?
Guys, I'm just on my cell phone, but I'm just here to help you and Mr. Kesh both. I was actually turned on to Mr. Kesh through your program, and just am appreciative and wanted to be here to help both of you guys. I've had amazing results with the Kesh technology myself. Really didn't expect it, but have had great results everywhere. And everything that I've made, I've also been replicating quote-unquote free energy, zero-point energy for years. I've made HHO. I'm sorry. I've made models of different motors, HHO, and so forth throughout the years, just knowing that this was something that we would be able to achieve in our lifetime, and so I've been following it closely. Thank you.
Nadine, can you hear me, and can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Carrie, yes, I can hear you. And good morning to everybody. I'm living in Italy, and I am following Mr. Kesh since about 2012 when I first came across him. I listened to his interview, which came out, I think it was from 2011, and it just made immediately sense to me. He started to talk about how plasma is based on magnetic gravitational fields. Then he explained also about the solar system. And then listening to another interview, at the end of the interview, he had even explained you why the soul doesn't die. So it was quite amazing for me, because I was always very interested in metaphysics or consciousness or whatever you want to call it. And that's how I started. And then I followed and listened to more interviews. Then the World Peace Treaty came out, which was very... I really thought, now we have somebody who has so much knowledge and who can teach and to very normal people what normally is only available to what is only available to scientists, and so even housewives can be, let's say, at the forefront of the new sciences. And so then I started to follow the normal knowledge seekers workshop, which were really amazing, because you were inside a classroom and coming to know in each section so much of what is, let's say, resonating for consciousness, for peace, for physics, for it is all combined. It gives you a very whole range of what has to be connected, because normally scientists, they never spoke how emotion is connected with the man's reality, let's say. And so I'm very fascinated, although I'm not very much engaged in producing. I did some coils, I did nano coating, and I made some GANs. I ordered the CO2 kit, but I'm very happy. I'm very happy about it, because it has to be in a way that he hit the nail on its head by the CO2 and the zinc oxide, which is mainly which our brain is mainly based on, to interact directly with consciousness. And so I relate very much to the spiritual aspect, or to the, let's say, what he always points out is that it is based on magnetic gravitational field, so it is based on what you give and what you take, and the plasma is giving you what you need at the point of need. Yeah, that's about for the moment.
Okay, thank you very much, Nadine. And let's go on to Jerry, if he is there at this time.
Yeah, I came back through your system that you don't need to go through one panel.
Okay, that's wonderful. That makes it a lot easier for me at the other end. Okay, very good. So, Jerry, you came back on. Jerry, have you been able to, are you able to talk now, or how's your sound?
Hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay, Jerry, why don't you introduce yourself then to the group?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. My name is Jerry Avalos. I'm the president of a company called Quanta Emissions Technology. Well, I'm here really to support the science behind this concept of alternative energy, and I love the fact that, Kesh, how you mentioned there's, free energy is a misnomer. I couldn't agree more. And what we have here is an amazing opportunity for home engineers to really be able to exemplify what's going on here. And what I do professionally is employ a lot of this alternative energy concepts of interacting EM fields, scalar wave information, which does tie into the psychic, or shall we say, consciousness in that regard, as it relates to tangible physical effects in the quantum world, and is also that can be observed on the large scale. So this is really exciting for me to hear so many minds coming together about alternative energy, and I'm here to lend support in terms of helping to validify or help point to other examples of where these concepts are very viable, including not only on a personal level but on a professional level. There's a huge appetite out there right now in major business, and this is something my company is, we're pretty lucky in the sense that we have a lot of conversations with pretty major companies about ways that they can become more green, use energy wiser. So this is something that even larger companies, corporations, are having to look at now. So it's pretty exciting times.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Jerry, and really appreciate that. So at this moment, what we want to do is really talk about the viability of what you might call zero-point energy, and some people may wish to refer to it depending on what they're using in different ways. We do have a question from the audience that Brian, our producer, is helping to field the questions, and that would be really great if you would continue to do that, Brian. So they're talking about Kesh technology followers and the foundation. They're talking about an unedited video with watt meters showing without a doubt that the technology really works for residents. So does anybody on our panel, Kesh, you can get first chance to respond to that question if you like.
No, this is one of them, because as you know, up to now, a lot of people who talk about the alternative energy, they patented, they hid in their system. The good thing is when you see these kind of people putting their meters, it's not a meter anymore. There are people are now receiving electricity bills. They are posting their electricity bills. Reduction 20–30% compared to last winter. Nothing has changed in the house. People showing 60% reduction in their bills. These are a reality we are facing, because people are building most of these systems. If we were the manufacturer and we put it out, they say, oh, the system, blah, blah, blah. But most of these systems we are teaching. People are building it. We said maybe 500,000 people will build systems. The others are not there. That's why we are putting the factories. And when we put the factories, we had to give units to be tested. We are not claiming we can reduce. We said it's called a power unit. It means part of the power of the system will help to reduce. This is what we call nowadays in the auto industry hybrid. Now we have for the first time introduced a house-home hybrid system. We provide part of it. We are researching in developing a full power generator. It'll be in the market in the coming time, very shortly. But these bills, electricity bills, is not put by us. It's all over. People don't want even to show. We have seen zero. Meters has been installed in September of last year, and January of this year, house with children, with a full family living, zero power. Zero bill, electricity bill, we have a copy of it. So we don't want to be in a position to create false information. We let the people to build. Most of these people who show their system, they built it themselves. People which receive electricity bill using the MAGRAPH system of Keshe Foundation, we know up to now 30% is average reduction. So it's not, if it's a 2 kilowatt system, is whatever you use, you get 30% reduction. This is a discussion I had with officials here in Dubai very recently. Because now we moved into Dubai to set up the Middle East Center. We are moving on to the other countries. We haven't moved our position. So in Dubai, in Emirates, there are companies who I brought system with me, and I gave it to them when I arrived 8 weeks ago. They have put it in a school. They have put it in homes. And they see, they called us back 2 weeks ago and says, we see in the school, because we wanted to see if it's just for home, it's a huge place. It's the size of more or less a polytechnic or a university in the Western world. They took me to see it. I said, wow. People with me said that one single system, such a small thing, affecting such a structure, they've seen 20 to 30% reduction in their electricity bill. We are talking 115,000 euro per month electricity bill. Said, now we are testing a bigger part of the structure for another part of the school, which is not connected to the main section, which is the cooling system, what they call chillers. We have connected system now to chillers. Now we're running for a week. We've seen immediate 10% reduction. That is another 100,000 euro a month electricity bill. If you can reduce 20% of 100,000, that's 20,000 euro per month. That's $250,000 reduction. It's a huge saving. It's a proportion. These systems are not kilowatt based. You save 2 kilowatt. We said these you can't load more than 2 kilowatt on one end to trigger the system to release its plasma. And we see it's not something that it costs instantly. In nanocoats, wires, it reduces more and more. We've seen 3 kilowatt reduction in 1 day. 3 kilowatt reduction in 500 kilowatt is not much, but if you compare it, 3 kilowatt is a home use, one person totally free. So if you use 3 kilowatt, you get 1 kilowatt reduction, about 30% in your bill. And that 30% in the Western world, if you save 60–70 euro per month, that's nearly 1,000 euro roughly a year. And that's one holiday. That's clothing for the children. That's food on the table. And this is what is nice. We see now in Kenya, a lady scientist, she's a doctor, she's an atomic energy doctor, who went to Ghana. Benjamin built a system. They took it to test it in Ghana in their home. The local currency, I can release the email. She's a very highly valued scientist. And she used it in her own home to prove it works not. In January alone, the bill monthly is 5,000 local currency, is reduced to 100. She says, very simply, now I can look after my children better. This is where the difference comes. We don't say we are correct, you have to pay us. We see in this situation now is coming up, raising with this woman who calls her false hope, we call her, that she's gone with her stepfather to promote this quantum energy, whatever, and then no, we give it free. But they knew from the beginning it's not working, and then they charge $300 for consulting for what they put that is not working. We give you the unit free, but pay us $300 to consult you. We know it doesn't work. And then 1,000 euro. These are the scams. These are set up by people like Alan Sterling. That's how he made money. children, and a scam. The scammers call the others scammers for a scam not to be shown. This is the beauty of the energy. And now governments are opening their eyes. We see all these sites will be taken down one by one by governments. So there is no scam. As the gentleman said, we are all there to participate. And the thing is, we give the technology to people. People are doing it at home. People are testing it at home. People are making the pen, and they see the pain disappearing. So we don't need to be brainwashed. We need to consolidate to learn more from each other. That's why we do our open teaching. People come and say, oh, we found the easier way. Oh, there is another alternative way. And we give everyone a chance. No organization in the world has done what the Keshe Foundation is doing. Science for the people, by the people, promoted and developed by them for the rest. We don't silence nobody. If you are a terrorist, we shut you up. If you are Alan Sterling, which we refuse to give interview because we found that there's a pedophile, it's our right to protect our people. We see other people who come with the genuine science. It doesn't mean it has to be ours. The Keshe Foundation public teachings on Tuesday and Thursday has become a ground for people who have an alternative way. We give you a platform, and we have become one of the most powerful scientific organizations worldwide. You will understand in the next 4 or 6 weeks how much we have to come to be part of the structure of a lot of organizations in their ethos, the way they work. Look at it simply. Look at Tesla unit, Tesla cars. They opened the patent. Nobody understood why they said we're opening our patent. It was very easy. In one interview, I said, if you don't open, we show it's our technology used. If you look into the Tesla cars, Tesla batteries, the new systems, is a replication use of the nanotechnology of the Keshe Foundation. That's why I said to Tesla in a very open, they listened to all the communications. I said, I open your patent. They never received the patent. They put the application form in. They knew it's not going to be accepted because it's in public domain. And I said, I open it. And Tesla Group correctly, they did their job. I respect them. We are all there to help the humanity. We all work in one direction, the direction of the Tesla Group. It's fantastic. These people are, okay, they are commercially have to satisfy the finances which is put in for them, but they are behaving correct. These people, most of the people we see in the energy industry who have gone into commercialization, they have shown they can do it. It does bring a change. And we are not the only one. We are one of many, but we give a grant to humanity, all the people to come. Housewives comes on our teaching and tells you what it does. A barber comes on our teachings. It shows how he can produce the technology to produce cheaper energy, to produce, in a way, partially part of the energy from our technology. And now he spends his life in Africa to teach. We don't bring professors to promote. We make professors of life. And this is a beauty with Keshe Foundation. Any alternative, we gave ground to.
Okay, there seemed to be an interruption with Keshe. I'm not sure if Keshe?
Yes.
Okay, there was a break off right there.
Yeah.
In what you were saying. So, did you want to wrap up those comments and then we'll
because you see, we work as a team. We invite everybody to come in because now we got rid of the most destructive man in the structure of the energy industry. A man who knew nothing about energy. He was supported by criminals and he was made the guru of children. Now he's gone. Alan Sterling is gone for good. We put him, Keshe Foundation supporters put him into prison. We gave all the information to FBI. He's gone. The next one is this false hope, I call it, and we prove that her gang, what are they up to. They have become another supply chain. They used to supply children to Alan Sterling. Now she supports an orphanage in Africa. CIA tells us orphanages in Morocco are where most of the children are shipped into Europe because Morocco is accepted by the Belgians. So please be aware. Do not give your telephone number. Do not make any communication, especially with Susan. Susan asks for people's children's pictures. This Susan woman who came supposedly to Belgium, to Italy to go to our center, the first thing she asks you when she communicates, can I have a picture of your daughter, please? She doesn't ask your son. We release her communication today. What a woman who says hello to you about energy, what does you want the picture of your daughter? Because the king likes daughters, young girls. So don't fall for Susan, and don't work with hope. There is no hope. Hope, it says, it's actually in her website, she is supporting orphanage in Morocco. We've been told by the people in the security services that this orphanage is supplying children to Alan Sterling. That's why they were working together. She brings young children. You see, when you take your child to orphanage, there is no passport, there is no birth certificate. So it doesn't exist. A child which doesn't exist goes in the hand of the Hope, Miss Hope.
Okay.
Please be guided. You see, this is important. No, let me tell you, this is important because they start making comments about energy. Who's a scam? That's what it comes in. Nothing to do with us. They're making comments about other energy groups, and they call us a scam, where it is the same, another platform for the same people as Alan Sterling.
Okay, but at this time, what I don't want to do is talk about other people that may or may not be involved in child pornography or.
Yeah, they are. We don't make accusation. Put it this way: Keshe Foundation does not make accusation.
Okay,
but they come to infect us. They put our name as we are a scam.
I understand, and I appreciate
we have to be clear.
Yourself.
Yes.
I simply want to say that this platform is to discuss free energy, and
yes, but we don't know who your panelists are. We don't know who your panelists are.
Well, actually, they are introducing themselves, and they have already introduced themselves. So that's
we better have a proper panelist. We know where they come from. If your panelists are there to support technology, yes, it's correct. But if your panelists are there to criticize, to destroy, we should be aware. Listen, Kerry, because you become now the platform for the correct, what I call science. We support you to stay correctly. We even support you. We are prepared to support you financially because we understand your position. But as long as you stay impartial and stay correct, because we got rid of the worms.
We are attempting to do at this time. So at this moment, Keshe, thank you. At this moment, let's move on to the next question.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for your statement. Thank you. Okay, so if anyone else wants to respond now to the question at hand, which was asked about a home unit, please do speak up now and let me know. Otherwise, we'll move to the next question. Anyone?
I guess one thing is I can just jump in real quick and just say,
Jerry, go ahead.
From a technical standpoint of and some of the numbers that Keshe was sharing are very similar to our device in terms of what we're dealing with, as well as the political climate. And to let people know, like we do a lot of fat gas analyzation before and after, and so a lot of people do want an uninterrupted video of that. But honestly, it's boring and it takes about 20 minutes. So if you're asking for a video of some of these processes on a scientific level, if you're prepared to sit and watch something for like 20 minutes, literally do almost nothing, then that's kind of what you're asking for videos that are uninterrupted. And now in that sense, and this is why I can see where Mr. Keshe was explaining how they have the receipts of real-world applications, which are very accurate. In a lot of ways, that's going to beat an uninterrupted video all to anything anyways, in terms of proof of concept.
Okay, let me just ask you, Jerry, while you're still on the line here. The person is asking for what they called watt meters that show, I guess, a change. So it is possible to film a meter and show a change. Yeah, you can, fast forward for when it
Yeah.
started, and then show the change. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we've done that too. Time-lapse videos. There's one that we've done ourselves of a freestanding gas can being affected by our nanotechnology, and it took about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and we just time-lapsed it faster to be about like 8 minutes or something like that, or 5 minutes. So yeah, it's definitely doable, but it also takes time and effort. So I mean, if it's a business, that means you have to pay for someone to do that, and if it's a foundation, that means you have to find a volunteer to do that, which takes time. So all these things do factor in more than I think a lot of people realize when there's a professional, sincere effort going on.
Okay, thank you for that. Is someone else? Let's see, Robert, did you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I've got my power bills here so that I could show you guys. I've just kind of blacked out my address. Are you able to see it?
It's a bit fuzzy, but I guess, I'm not sure. Maybe you could tell us what you're trying to show us.
Yes, this is November's power bill. This is black and white from the company. I used 2,412 kilowatt hours. December's bill, and this is for 1,471 kilowatt hours. And then January's bill, the most recent that I've got at this point, January to February usage, 839 kilowatt hours. Now that's not just from one stacker though. I have built probably 12 or 13 of them total and had them plugged in at different times. And I didn't believe it until I actually built it and had them going, and so just there's some...
Are you saying you built one a Kesh's machine or a different machine? What are you saying?
No, Kesh's machine. Kesh's stacker, the Magrav stacker. I followed his directions. October 26th we began. I took a little more time than some others. I wanted to get it right. Didn't plug it in till about mid-November. But I've also got daily readings that I was taking off the watt meter. If anybody really wants to go through that, they can contact me, and I can send them pictures. New Energies in My DNA at gmail.com.
Okay, great. Okay, so at this moment, what I want to do is actually look at a paragraph that I put on my website on an article that is talking about zero-point energy, and I believe Dr. Tom Vallone, and he talks about basically that this zero-point energy can be demonstrated. It can be demonstrated and has been demonstrated where with certain bodies have been measured, and that there is actually a change in the energy, even when it appears they're at zero, and they haven't changed, but there is a noticeable difference in terms of energy. So I wanted to know if anyone listening or watching or anyone on our panel can reply to the Tom Vallone article on my website.
Since there's been no resounding other comments, the one thing I guess I can say is that what I saw from the article, it seems very indicative of these types of alternate energies. I mean, like with the different Kesh devices, you're seeing practical applications of really known thermodynamic concepts. In a lot of ways, it's a type of static system because it doesn't have big engines, pistons moving and things like that. Just like our system is a relatively solid state static kind of generator of sorts that is using very high voltage, low amperage to essentially reciprocate. In a lot of ways, it's just standing there, grabbing whatever latent energy is in the environment to catalyze an effect. And so I think that this theme overall seems to be shared throughout all these different disciplines, be it power generation or for us pollution reduction, we're still dealing with some kind of force cascade or chain that ultimately we do have to explain on some kind of thermodynamic level. So, and it does seem like a census is being made.
Okay, like a sentence here that says, even when you remove all sources of energy and cool a region very close to absolute zero, the 0 point, there is still usable energy present in abundance, is what he is written here. So what that indicates to me is that we're really talking about basically energy from the vacuum. We're talking about energy from the ether.
No. Can I come in, Cassidy?
Yes, please go ahead.
This is a point of scientific point, and as a nuclear physicist, and as somebody who works in the world of plasma. In the world of creation, we have nowhere that is void of magnetic or gravitational field. There is nowhere in the universe, because there is always a point where the fields go to, get attracted to, or there is a point where it irradiates fields for wherever the source is to exist. So now we have realized with the GANs is independent of the temperature. So matter state, when you go to minus 273 degrees, is the matter state's motion which comes in balance with this environment at that temperature. But it's not the overall structure of the work of the fields of the universal condition. So even though you go to the minus, which is in matter state, the vibration stops, but it doesn't stop the movement of the fields from one entity to another. So there is nowhere in the universe that we can find a place that's void of magnetic or gravitational fields. So when you understand this, you understand when fields move, in moving from A to B, they have to give or gain some energy. So in any point in the universe, there is energy. It's the misrepresentation of the knowledge which has caused this problem. Now that we can clearly state it, understand it, now we shouldn't look for this, that even at minus 270 there is energy. There is energy all the time. When it's magnetic or gravitational, there is nowhere in the universe which is void of fields. And if you understand that, then you understand fields are not static, they're on the move. When they move, they have to give or gain, and when you do that, that's energy. So let's redefine the science, then we all understand the true understanding of it, and then we don't have this discussion. All the scientists who work in this, if they call it 0 point, what does it mean? The way I understand this paper and the people who write about 0 point, change the word 0 point to what it used to be black hole. Change it to what we call the principal matter. It's a center which the field come and go, but in respect to our position, we prefer to call it at the point where we want to look at. So even in that point, there is movement of fields. So if you understand that, so there is energy everywhere. Now, different scientists come and use different part of it, because this is one of the reasons I support Professor Mile. Professor Mile has understood, but he speaks about attracting the field. We call gravitational field. Our most famous scientist I have a lot of respect for, Tesla, he only discovered the magnetical, what is coming out of. Both speak the same. One cannot exist without the others. Is Miles the same as Tesla, but undervalued? Or is Tesla partially because he came first and the other one found the other side? It's a dual motorway. You can't have all the traffic going one way. There's another one coming on the other side. Otherwise, the city at the end will be full of cars and nothing coming out of it. Let's put the science in order, then we all understand. There is energy everywhere in the universe. And each one of us, scientist, layman, who finds a new way to tap into part of that spot which we are interested in, that's all it matters. We call it a plasma. We can close it. We can separate it. The other gentleman works with the energy between the two plasmas. So if you understand the scientific terminology, then we all are at ease. We can discuss openly. None of us is wrong and none of us is right, but we are all there. We are all right because we understand the new definition. This technology, the misrepresentation of the science, false science we have accepted, is 90% of the cause of our development. All of us. We accepted at minus 273. We've been told by illiterates to accept the illiteracy. And we have, not to show we are stupid, we accepted it. At minus 270 degrees, nothing happens. Nothing happens from the vibration state standpoint of view of matter state, not above or below matter state, because matter state has a specific gravitational magnetic field position in the spectrum of the whole gravitational field magnetic field. In that point, as minus 270, the motion stops, but not the magnetic field motion. Physical vibration stops in the view of the man, but the fields still move between the two entities. And you can still tap into you can still get between the electron and the proton in that minus 273 and extract as much energy as you do at boiling of 10,000 degrees. Because the motion is different than the transfer of fields. Now we understand this. Let's redefine this false science to the correct science we understand more of. Maybe in the future we understand more of. The future scientists will even explain more in detail what we explain now because we are not ready to accept it. So if we take this minus 270 degree, understand it's a matter state. It's like what Einstein said, the speed of light is a maximum. Yes, Einstein is correct only in one bit. In the matter state is the maximum speed, not in the full spectrum of the gravitational magnetic field of the universe. A matter state is a very small bracket in the whole structure. So when you speak about zero energy, zero from which point is a point of reference, and where is your zero? Are you closer to the proton or are you closer to the electron? Because your zero can be anywhere. Are you in the center of the proton? Or are you in the center of electron? So none of our scientists are wrong. Now that we got rid of the biggest scam, PeaceWiki, now let's speak the true science. Because now scientists speak. Now we can bring the people who can understand my work, make a meter, they show you the bill now. They use somebody else's work, they show the meter and it works. We are all right. None of us is wrong.
Okay, let me ask another question here, Kesh, and thank you for that explanation. That was wonderful.